This is the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon Radio.
Welcome to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon radio station, and I'm delighted to be back for my fourth show. Gosh, I can't believe a whole month has gone by. It's just whizzed by. I've had the best time. I'm so loving being back on air. So yeah, as I say, welcome back to this very festive edition of the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show. Here's a bit about me if you've not watched the show or listened to the show so far. I have a real passion for fashion. I've been a personal stylist for 20 years now. I'm a dopamine dresser, which means I love colour and the hit that the dopamine gives me. I'm a mum of two amazing boys. I am a theatre reviewer. I review films, and hopefully from next year I'll be reviewing some books as well here on my show. So very excited. Lots of amazing things coming up. I love yoga, I love cake and ABBA, not necessarily in that order as well, but I will be talking a lot about yoga over the forthcoming weeks, because yoga is a really, really important part of my life. And no matter how rubbish I'm feeling in the morning, I get up every single morning and I do my yoga practice, and it really sets me up for the day. And the second, I'll be talking to Ailsa Petchey, who has been with us since the beginning, and she's from the Olive Collective, and we'll be talking about sort of damage limitation over the festive period as well. So do stay tuned for that. I'll also be offering fashion advice, what to wear on Christmas Day. Last week I talked about wearing something very glamorous. Today I'll be talking about something else, so just stay tuned for that. I'm going to review Peter Pan a little bit more as well, because I'm still thinking about it a couple of weeks later, which is always a good sign. Christmas TV, and as I said, menopausal musings on the second hour with Ailsa Petchey. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Christmas fashion, but I'm going to talk about teal. And teal is the colour that I'm wearing my lovely Hobbs velvet dress today, with these amazing sleeves, which are lovely. I love them because they're 3/4, so they're not going to get caught in the gravy if I do decide to wear this on Christmas Day, which at this stage I think I will be. But teal is a wonderful colour because it is a colour that suits absolutely everybody. So if you've had your colours done, it would mean you were autumn, spring, summer or winter, this colour will suit absolutely everybody because it has warm and cool undertones. So it is a universal colour. So if you are a bit scared of colour, teal is a great alternative to black. And personally, I prefer it to burgundy, but you know my thoughts on burgundy, which I talked about quite vociferously on my first show, actually. I still can't get my head around it. I don't know why. And I did actually go on a forum to see what was my particular aversion to burgundy. And it seems that I am not alone, actually. Women of my age, women of a certain age, we won't go down that particular route, but a certain television presenter was quite derogatory about women of a certain age. But I'm very proud to be a woman of a certain age. But as a woman of a certain age, burgundy was just something we wore at school, and our school uniforms were absolutely grim. So it just has the sort of school connotations, and I just, I don't like it. But as I say, I've got a lot of friends who feel exactly the same. But teal, I absolutely love teal. As I say, it's a colour that suits absolutely everybody. You could team this with gold. Again, it depends on your preference for jewelry, so whether you want gold or silver. I've gone silver because I think it's a little bit more festive and sparkly, and I kind of like the contrast. So I've gone very, very blingy today, and I've also gone for a silver nail varnish. And this was £2.50 at a very well-known, very inexpensive store, and this is the best nail varnish I actually own. Can you believe it? £2.50. I have spent so much money on nail varnishes over the years. I've tried Jessica, I've tried OP, all the big names, and they cost a fortune. Excuse me, and they do not last. This one is £2.50, and this will still be on by the weekend. It's absolutely amazing. And I thought silver was quite festive, but I have also got a gold one as well, which I got at an even cheaper store. So you don't actually have to spend loads on your nails to get that little sparkle. So if budgets are tight, and let's be honest, we're all struggling over Christmas. Everything is very, very expensive now, but you just want to zhuzh up your look. A metallic nail varnish is a really, really good way to do it. I, in the past, have had gels and acrylics, and they've completely and utterly ruined my nails. And my job as a personal stylist is very physical, so I'm doing up lots of zips, carrying lots of clothes with hangers, and they get absolutely wrecked. So I do need a hard-wearing nail varnish. But this one, as I say, if you want to know a little bit more about it, please drop me a DM or email me at Nancy at Horizon Radio to find out a little bit more about my beauty tips, because I am a massive fan. £2.50 for nail varnish, that's just unheard of. So yes, so the metallics for me have just really lifted this outfit. Teal can be a little bit flat as well. So again, I do think the silver really, really lifts it. I also want to talk about what I'm going to wear on Christmas Day. I do think I probably am going to wear this because it's velvet and it's very stretchy, which I like, which means I can have lots to eat. There's lots and lots of give here. And as I say, the sleeves aren't too long, so they're not going to be floating in my food. So I think this is probably my Christmas Day outfit. Having said that, as I talked about last week, if you are hosting, obviously you want to be wearing something comfortable. But some people I know like to spend the day in their PJs, and why not? So I think it's a lovely thing to do. If there's some lovely pajamas out there, really, really elegant. I've got a couple of pairs. There's a company called They're Nibs, and they're an independent organisation based in London. Two women who've created these wonderful pajamas, and they are so special. And mine's actually, I've got some teal ones, Ailsa Petchey, with peacocks all over them, and they're just beautiful, and they're very silky and very elegant, and they don't actually look like pajamas. I wouldn't wear them out. I'm not that confident, and I do see people wearing sort of quite silky clothes out, and I do think there's a fine line between looking elegant and looking pajama-ish, but they are absolutely beautiful and super, super comfy. If you want something a little bit more cuddly or fluffy, Chelsea Piers do the most beautiful pajamas as well, and they've got animals all over them. So my son bought for his girlfriend one with giraffes all over it, and it's so cute, and a matching fluffy dressing gown. But I had some chaps in store yesterday who were wandering around looking hopeless and hapless, looking for presents for their wives, and I recommended some Chelsea Piers pajamas, and he bought her ones with cheetahs on them, and they were just so cute. And there's also ones with zebras, so they're very, very sweet. So it makes a lovely present as well. But if you want to just be comfy on Christmas Day but still look stylish, there's some lovely, lovely pajamas out there. So I would. Yeah, if I wasn't going out, I would probably be wearing pajamas on Christmas Day. But yes, I think this is going to definitely be my Christmas outfit. And I'm going to be talking about sales. Now, sales, we've just been through Black Friday, which used to just be one day. It's now it feels like it's a whole month, actually. When you work in retail, it feels like a very, very long time. But the sales will be starting on the 27th of December. So I've got some sales advice, which I hope that you would possibly take advice from me, because as someone who's worked in retail for a very long time, and as someone who loves clothes, I've made some terrible mistakes by buying things because I thought they were cheap. There's no such thing as cheap fashion, because actually it's only a bargain if you're going to wear it. So the questions that I would ask, we all go a little bit crazy looking for that elusive bargain at this time of year. But I would sort of say, ask yourself, would you pay full price for this? Honestly, would you pay full price for this? If the answer is no, or even a slight hesitation, do not get it, because it's false economy. If you're buying something because it's cheap, you're not going to wear it. So you've got to think about cost per wear as well. I would also say, if you're buying something to slim into or diet into, again, that's an absolute big fat no. If it doesn't fit you, say, if it doesn't fit me now, I'm not going to buy it, because I guarantee, and this is something I've done myself. I bought something because I thought I loved it so much and it was on the sale, and 6 months later it's still sitting in your wardrobe with the label on, and it's probably going to have to go invented. And it's going to also be a reminder of the fact that you feel like you've maybe failed because you've not got into your dream dress, or your goal dress. I'm all for incentivization, but that is not a great way to do it, because I've got a jumpsuit in my wardrobe at the moment, which I bought a couple of years ago, Ted Baker jumpsuit, absolutely gorgeous, and I was very, very slim then, and it's a size 12. Ted Baker comes up very small, and I'm not going to get into this again. So I have to accept now, because I got it on the sale, I'm going to have to get rid of it, because I'm not going to be that tiny size 12 again, and that's okay. But again, I bought it because it was cheap. I love it, but it was, I bought it for the wrong reasons. Also, please don't be overly influenced by what you see on social media or magazines, because those influencers or those models, that's literally their job, is to make clothes look good. They don't have to do anything else. It's not a hard job. They have to just stand there and look absolutely amazing. And most of them will be pretty slim and tall, and obviously they're clothes hangers. That's why their clothes hang beautifully. When, as a real woman, as someone who, speaking for myself, as a curvy woman, you put clothes on like that, they're not going to hang the same way, because we're not the same shape. And most models are probably about 6 foot and probably a size 8. So on us mere mortals, they're just not going to look like that. And that can be really disheartening and very, very disappointing, because you think, well, I bought it thinking, because it's all about aspirational fashion, and that's what the fashion industry does. It lures you in, and advertising, it makes you buy into something, and you think, oh well, I'm going to look great, or that'll make me feel great, but actually it'll do completely the opposite. So don't buy into that whole marketing and the sales, and you're going to look like this if you wear that, and it's going to make you feel like this, because actually all it's going to do is make you feel absolutely rubbish. So please don't kind of buy into the whole this is what it looks like on, I don't know, a particular model or influencer, because it's not going to look like that on you. And also buying online is really, really difficult. Sales buying online, I think, is even more difficult, because obviously you haven't got the option to try on, and there is no such thing as a standard size anymore. Literally, even within a brand, I mean, in Hobbs, for instance, I can be a 12 and a 14. It's literally the same brand. It makes no sense. So as I say, there's no consistency in sizes, and most women are not a standard size anymore. So if you're buying in the sales for a particular size, be very careful of that as well. I'd also sort of say, would this go with anything else in your wardrobe? Does this go with anything else in your wardrobe? I've got a skirt in my wardrobe which I bought, and I absolutely love it. And as a consumer and as a fashionista and someone who loves fashion, but as someone who works in retail, I see it all the time. I bought this particular skirt. I love it. I love a pleated skirt. I'm always banging on about pleated skirts. It's a rainbow skirt, and I love it. But I've actually only worn it once, because even though I think, oh, well, it's got all those colours in it, I bought it because it was cheap. And I've worn it once, and that was a year ago. That is, talk about cost per wear. There's no cost per wear there. That has cost me, it probably cost me 50 quid, and it was probably £100 in the sale. That has actually cost me 50 quid, and I've not had 50 quid's worth of wear out of it. I hope that makes sense. So I'd always be mindful. You think, do I really love this? Do I want it? Will I still want it in 3 or 4 weeks' time? Is it going to fit with my wardrobe? Am I buying it just because it's cheap? So I really hope that those kind of tips are helpful. But yeah, the most important thing is, would I pay full price for it? If the answer is no, do not get it. And we're talking about Panto now, and I did talk about Panto last week, but I think as a reviewer, I think sometimes it would be good to wait a while, because I think when I record a review, I usually record it basically within minutes of the performance finishing, and I'm usually on a high, and I'm so buzzing, and I'm just full of the adrenaline, and this, I'm still very hyped. But I think it's really quite useful to sort of look back, and sort of think, should I do a review a week later? Because then I've calmed down, and have I thought about that show, or whatever show it is, but not necessarily Panto? Am I still thinking about it a week later? Because for me, that is the litmus test. And I'm still thinking about Panto a week later. So for me, that is showing that it's a really, really good show, because it's still in my mind, and I'm still thinking about Craig's amazing performance as Captain Hook. He makes such a great baddie, and it was full of Strictly jokes, and it was everything you would expect and more. And Max Fulham, who is a comedian and ventriloquist, literally has the audience eating out of the palm of his hand. He's an extraordinary talent. He really is. And the two of them are amazing. I mean, the whole show is amazing. It's not big on special effects this time, which I really liked, but it is a fabulous show. The kids loved it. I mean, it is utterly fabulous. So a week later, I'm still loving Peter Pan, which is on at Milton Keynes Theatre till the 5th of January. So get your tickets. I know there are tickets still available. So it is a wonderful way to start Christmas, and it really did kickstart Christmas for me last week. The other thing I wanted to talk about wasn't the Strictly final emotional? Oh my God. When Chris and Diane did the You'll Never Walk Alone dance, we were just, the judges were in pieces. I was crying. The audience were crying. Everybody was just crying. I think you must have had to have a heart of stone to have not been moved by their performance. And I didn't think the show dances were brilliant this year, if I'm honest. There was nothing that I particularly loved, but it was, that particular dance just moved everybody. And also the thing that I really, really loved is the cameras just stopped for 30 seconds, and it just gave you an insight into what it must be like to be blind. Chris is dancing completely in the dark. It was amazing. And yeah, it was just that spine-tingling, goosebumpy kind of moment. And they were absolutely deserved winners. But moving on, we have got the Strictly Christmas special on Christmas Day, and for me, that is that's, some people love the Queen's speech or the King's speech now, but for me, the Strictly Christmas special is fabulous. And we've got a great lineup this year, actually. We've got, I actually say the Christmas special is usually filmed in the summer, which is quite, it's all the fake snow and everything. That's how it works. But we've got comedian Josh Widdicombe. So let's hope he's better than his namesake Anne Widdicombe all those years ago, because that was truly shocking dancing. We've also got Tace, who is the first drag artist ever on Strictly, which I think is an amazing signing for Strictly. Honestly, they keep pushing those barriers, groundbreaking signing, and I fell in love with her when she was on Drag Race UK a couple of series ago. So that'll be absolutely fantastic. She's super glamorous. Vogue Williams, model and podcaster. I love her podcast with her husband Spencer Matthews. It's very funny, and they literally just take the Michael out of each other. It's absolutely wonderful. We've got Nitra from Gladiators, the new Gladiators, by the way. I don't even know these people now. And EastEnders actress Tamsin Outhwaite, whom I predict will win. She has got West End training, and I think she'll probably win. And because it's the judge's decision, I think that's why on those shows, the Christmas special, they tend to win. Whereas when it is the public, they vote for the underdog. They want that for the person whose journey was the best. And also there's disabled racing driver Billy Munger is also dancing as well. So that'll be amazing. But I think it's going to be a fabulous show. And that's, for me, that is what Christmas Day is all about, watching. And by then I will be in my pajamas, absolutely 100%. Gosh, the first hour has just flown by. I cannot believe it. Honestly, just talking about things that I love, like fashion, and I'm going to be going to the second hour. I'm talking to Ailsa Petchey about menopause, but I'm loving it. I hope you can tell that I'm just having the absolute best time. But we are going to be talking to Ailsa about damage limitation over the Christmas period. And for the fourth week in a row, I'm delighted to be joined by Ailsa Petchey of the Olive Collective. Ailsa is a seasoned wellness and all-round health expert of some 33 years, the author of this magnificent book, which I've started rereading, Don't Sweat It, Manage Your Menopause in 21 Days. It is a must-have for Christmas. It really, really is fabulous. Welcome back, Ailsa.
Oh, thanks for having me. I can't believe it's our fourth week.
I know. It's been such fun.
It has.
Doesn't feel like work, does it?
No.
That's why that's why I always say if it doesn't feel like work, you're doing the right thing.
Exactly. So it's lovely to be back.
No, thank you so much. So today we're going to talk about damage limitation over the festive period and kind of how to manage things without going completely ballistic, but also without being, too puritanical about things. Because, we want to have a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gosh, yes. And actually, I don't know what it is about Christmas, but it isn't just one day, is it? It's usually across a good 2 weeks of the December month, if not longer. Obviously, we go into, I think, really from about, would you say, the 24th to the 3rd of January.
Yes.
is the worst time.
But I also think, it's obviously Christmas parties start a lot earlier.
Of course.
So Christmas parties and, just functions gets drinks get togethers and stuff. So that kind of pressure is on quite early on, actually. Yeah. And I think as soon as that, we're cracking open the sequins, it means, the calories all, the whole calorie thing just flies out the window.
Yeah.
I suppose I just want to ask you, how do you manage this period? Are you still mindful, or do you just go completely ballistic? Or a bit of both?
Oh, a bit of both, actually, if I'm honest. I think what's really important is so let's just go back. If you're at a time where you're actually going to be trying to lose weight, building up to Christmas. So a lot of the time we get past the summer holidays, we go into September and we sort of start to recover from the summer holidays, sort of like that break. If you have started a healthier eating program, if you started healthy, exercising, things like that, you should be able to try and carry some of those things through. If you're trying to make those your new habits, the difficulty is if you're in that early phase, because those habits haven't sort of impregnated themselves into your daily life to the point where you just do them as your go-tos. So I've got quite a few things that are my go-tos that I don't really think too much about them. I'll always have a daily walk. I do that early in the morning so I don't have any excuses, but I also find it really sets me up for the day. So I'd always recommend, if anybody wants to do anything, try and find a part of the day that really works for you. And if you can stick to that, fantastic. So it doesn't matter whether it's the weekend or the middle of the week. But like you, like everybody, I think we all have those things where we're, in celebratory mode, and celebrations of old, especially from when you're children, are also, always fun, aren't they? And you're always indulging, and the word indulgence is really what comes up. And I think it's trying to manage that indulgence. So I have got 2 tips for those days where you know that you're going to have a bigger meal. So, for example, Christmas Day, New Year's Day are great examples, if not in between as well. So I don't know whether you do any of these, but do you have any apple cider vinegar in your house?
Actually, funnily enough, I threw it away the other day. I was having a kitchen card, threw it away because I thought I haven't used it for ages. So that was obviously a stupid thing to do.
Well, maybe you need to refresh it and replace it. Yeah. So apple cider vinegar is a really interesting one. If we just think about our bodily functions, especially after we've had a heavy meal, sometimes digestion can be really difficult. So if you're in menopause, if you're going through a hormone change, your digestion can change. That really happened to me. But also you may find that you may be a little bit more windy. You may find that you're bloated, that you get stomach cramps, those discomforts. Things like apple cider vinegar are actually very good to help calm your digestion down. It's got acid in it, obviously, but it's the type of acid that actually really helps to just balance that digestive process. So that's actually really good. So all you do is you have maybe a tablespoon in some water. Don't have it straight, otherwise I don't make you. I just
actually making me gag. Thinking about it.
The smell puts me off.
Yeah,
but it is something that can really help. So you either do that before you have a meal or after. I think before is good because it sort of almost like helps your stomach almost like know what to expect in a way from that meal. But also the other thing it does, it does lower your blood sugar levels. So we want to look, when we're in menopause, the hardest thing is keeping our sugar levels balanced because our insulin is less sensitive in our body. So we do need mechanisms like apple cider vinegar, for example, to help us trigger our bodies to go, oh, you need to respond, to be able to balance that sugar out again. And so apple cider vinegar is a great one to have. So have that one back in your cupboard. Rather than making just mayonnaise and salad dressings with it, think about it as something to go to for around the Christmas period.
You make your own mayonnaise? Oh my God, you've just gone further up in my estimation. I mean, this will make you laugh. This just shows a complete lack of domesticity on my part. I was grilling some sausages last night. I don't even know how the grill works. I had to FaceTime a friend and actually I was in my onesie and she was cooking supper at the same time. It's like FaceTiming over supper. And I was just I literally don't know what the grill is. I mean, how bad is that? So if you mention talking about making mayonnaise, well, I literally have this is a foreign language to me, Ailsa. I'm so sorry. One can't be good at everything, you know.
Oh, no. I have to say, no, I don't do it often, but at least I know what little bits of ingredients to put together for a healthier version of it. So that's good. Okay. So I'd say have that in your cupboard. That's a really good one as a go-to, just to help you in the.
Okay. We are talking about damage limitation over Christmas, and you had an excellent tip before the break on consuming apple cider vinegar, which I just chucked out. But you've got another brilliant tip, so tell us what that is, please.
So actually you can do this as a daily thing that will actually really help you, especially after if you have hot flushes at night, which I know that you have struggled with in the past. You can find that your enzymes are quite low. You can feel quite dehydrated. So Himalayan salt is another one which is really good for just rebalancing the hydration in your body and getting your enzymes back. But it also can really help with reducing sugar cravings. And at this time of year, that can be really tough for a lot of people. And the other good thing about Himalayan salt is it's an anti-inflammatory. So we were talking about joint pain last week. And if you have sort of like a little bit, all you need to do, I've got a grinder, so you literally do one grind, so it's a little bit, it's not like a whole teaspoon or anything, so salt is salt at the end of the day, but because it's got some lovely minerals in there, potassium and magnesium, it's great to rebalance your levels of your hydration in your body. So it's good on so many different levels, but those two things are great. So if you drink too much over Christmas, if you find you're overindulging for food, then something like Himalayan salt and also the apple cider vinegar helps to basically supports your liver. It helps to detox your liver to be able to give you that little bit of balance back again.
So how would you have the salt?
Yeah, so you can you can have it in hot water. I tend to do mine in hot water in the morning, and I just do a little bit of a
plug it down.
Yeah, but no, you're not using enough that you can taste salt.
Okay,
it's actually just a small amount. It's almost like a little bit of a little sprinkle.
Okay.
That's all you need.
Okay.
But it really, really can help. And you can have that at any time of the day. You only need to do it once during the day, so choose your times. I tend to do it with the hot water first thing in the morning. It does dissolve in cold water. It takes a little bit more time. You have to stir it up a bit more. But just enjoy that as something like a hydration drink. And you can't really taste it. It just tastes like plain water.
What a brilliant tip. Well, I've got my own tip.
Yeah,
You recognise this?
Yeah.
This is Ailsa's spray, Sleep Sound Magnesium Spray. I absolutely swear by this. I spray, so sleep, obviously, we will probably be a little bit sleep deprived over the Christmas period. I absolutely swear by this. I go on my pillow every night, but actually on the soles of my feet.
Yes.
And obviously, your feet, obviously, are very porous, and this really, really aids with sleep. So for me, a good boring podcast will send me to sleep, and the magnesium spray, obviously not my own podcast, because that's just brilliant and stimulating, and that would keep you awake all night. Yeah. But seriously, this is a fabulous little spray. So really recommend.
So Shush Menopause Wellness, who does this spray, it's an essential oil that's at the base of this. So it's all essential oils that you've got. So it's the magnesium along with lavender, which is very calming. You've got chamomile in there as well, and frankincense. So it's anti-inflammatory, and because you're doing it transdermally onto your skin, like you said, underneath your feet, your body can absorb it, and it just really helps to calm you down. And I'm so glad it's really helped you with your sleep.
Oh, honestly, it is an absolute game changer, because as you say, doing it transdermally really, really does work. I always just put on my pillow, and then sometimes it worked and then sometimes it didn't. And if you've got a lot going on in your head, and I don't know about you, but as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm like, it's the wide awake club, even though I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm like, what's that about? My brain goes into overdrive, which while listening to something that is not massively stimulating is a really great way, because you're ending up listening and concentrating on what they're saying, or whoever the people are on the podcast are talking, and it's quite soporific, and they sort of end up sleeping. And I very rarely get to the end of a podcast. Brilliant. So it really does help. But every time I talk about sleep, I don't sleep that night. So I'm looking forward to a sleepless night tonight. Always
so spray it on your clavicle as well, because if you think your nose is close to there, so you're inhaling as well through that lavender and that calming thing. So that's quite good. And I know we've had a giggle before as well. Yes, and so your wrist points. Those are good as well. And it just calms your central nervous system down. And I think it's like a trigger for you. If you do it often enough, and it's in like a routine, your body gets used to it. It sort of like expects it, and so it actually then will recognise, I need to sleep now. So it's a little bit of a trigger for your brain to recognise, as well as absorb that magnesium in. So great.
It's like Pavlov's dog, isn't it?
Yes.
Because literally, I sprayed that, I smelt it, and I want to sleep.
Not yet.
No, I won't sleep, because obviously we've got lots to talk about. One other quick question I wanted to ask was, do you still exercise? When during the Christmas period, even when it's absolutely manic?
Yes, I do. But as I said before, I find it's my go-to for anything. I'm quite an overwhelmed person by nature, like anxiety and stress. And so I use it as my go-to to help me reduce all of those things. The first thing I do is go for the walk. The next thing I do is I do a little bit of Pilates, because I tend to find I really have to focus on breathing slowly to do some of the exercises I do. And that, even just 5 minutes of it, really works. And then when I feel very guilty after the huge indulgence, because I don't hold back. There's no point for me. I say I'm going to, but I don't. Then I tend to find the next day I will go for a workout, and I tend to do it before I eat my next meal. So what happens with our bodies is when we eat heavy meals, we actually slow our metabolism right down. Our digestive system just goes into this sluggish mode. You feel heavy, you feel just like comatose sometimes, and that's because your body's thinking, I have no idea how to manage this. So if you do, after your meal, go for a walk around the block, you will actually help your digestion. And then I tend to do the next morning a little bit of extra work with weights and things like that to help.
That's really good, show. And as you quite rightly say, if those habits are ingrained, which my yoga habit is well and truly ingrained, no matter what, I get up every single morning, come hell or high water, and I will do my yoga practice. Brilliant. So, and I will carry on doing that over the Christmas period. So,
I'm so glad.
But again, it's no use to starting something new now. It's not going to embed, and then you'll just feel like you failed, and then just give up.
I hate that feeling. guilt is just such a waste of feeling. It really is. We punish ourselves for so many things. It really isn't worth doing that. But I think that's a great thing. Keep that yoga going. You'll find that will actually calm you through anything that might be stressful during that period as well.
Okay, that's a good tip. Thank you. So you've got some brilliant tips on how to cope with overwhelm, because I think it is we were talking off air about it is overwhelm central at the moment. It's just crowds, it's noise, and I think we talked in a previous episode about the fact that because of estrogen depletion, sensory. My senses are like on sort of a massive alert. So I'm super sensitive to noise, to crowds, to anything like that, which is not great when you work in retail, but hey ho. But it is again about how do we manage this? And I did talk in the first hour about sales as well, like not buying things unless you absolutely need them. It's only a bargain if you're really going to wear it. Would you pay full price? So, but obviously another way to avoid that is doing it online.
Yes, it is. I mean, we were just saying actually just off air that I loved the time during COVID. Should I say that? I don't know. But when, especially in the Centre MK, they actually had you going down in one direction, everybody was walking in the same direction, and then you had to walk up the centre in the other direction. And I absolutely loved that, because the thing I find now, my spatial awareness and my sort of personal bubble, if anybody comes too close to me, it makes me sort of almost like pull back all the time, and I can just feel my anxiety rise. During the summer, we went to Bourton on the Water, I think, which is beautiful, isn't it?
But crowded as hell.
Oh, I went on a Saturday. What a stupid thing to do. And I had to get Michael, my husband, to stop. I had to turn myself in towards him and put my forehead on his chest, take some deep breaths before I could actually move myself away. That's how bad mine got. Gosh. So one of the things I think we just need to recognise is how we all feel. And, if you do struggle with being in public spaces where everybody's coming at you in different directions and it's too much, obviously try and find times of the day which are quieter. Probably the evening times would be a good time, or I think schools will be out now. Actually, they will be out, so you don't have the alternative of trying to go through a lunch hour when there's nobody around. But the other thing is, obviously, as you just said, online shopping is the other option, isn't it? But the other thing as well is not only the overwhelm of shopping, but we get completely overwhelmed because at this time of year, Christmas triggers us on so many emotional levels, doesn't it? Christmas, everybody's told it's all about family, and sometimes that can be a very triggering thing for many people. Not everybody is able to be with their family at Christmas. There may be broken families. There may be just relationships that are tough to manage during that time. And there's lots of things that can really trigger us and can cause these feelings that sort of like can make everything just feel just too much. To try and avoid exacerbating that, because obviously that is something that you're going to have to deal with if you're in that situation, is to try and avoid things like caffeine, because it's a stimulant and it will just really switch on even more of the overwhelm, and alcohol. Now, interestingly, I think a lot of the time with alcohol, we think, it's going to numb our senses a bit. And we have that for the period of time probably that we're drinking it. We might have that first glass of something and it feels lovely. You have that relaxed feeling, and that's what we want to feel, is that our shoulders come away from our ears, don't we? But after that, let's face it, alcohol is full of sugar. It is very addictive for women, especially in menopause, because once we have estrogen loss, there are more alcoholic women in their 50s and 60s and 70s because we don't have estrogen to balance us, because we crave sugar. We're much more susceptible to diabetes. But the alcohol does so little for us on so many levels, but overwhelm especially is something for it to avoid. But there are options. I don't know whether you know about things like, have you heard of Trip?
Yes. Yeah.
So things like you actually have, which has got like a CBD base to it, which I think a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I couldn't have that because that sounds like it's a drug. It's a healthy option, a CBD option, and Trip is just one brand. There's loads out there, but they have very lovely drinks, like lovely fragrance drinks that you can put in, which taste a bit botanical. So you can almost give the illusion that you're having a G&T, but without the gin. But you've got the relaxation that it gives your body, but without the alcohol. So that's something to think about.
No, Trip is a great drink. And as you say, alcohol is kind of everywhere, and it's kind of... it's so normalized. You only have to watch a drama, and middle-aged women are standing in their gorgeous, in their kitchen islands and their luxury homes, nursing a carafe of wine.
Yeah,
not
it's
even,
huge.
Not even a small glass. I mean, it's,
half a bottle in the glass.
I know. I almost wonder why people just don't bother. Just skip the carafe or the glass and just drink out the bottle, because you're going to drink the whole bottle anyway. But not that I'm not condoning that in any way, shape, or form. And it is a very difficult time of year. Alcohol is prevalent. It's normalized. And I would sort of say, if you're worried about anyone who's suffering from, possible issues with alcohol, to look at AA or Al-Anon, and that is an organisation that supports people who are affected by alcohol. So there is help out there. But it is as you say, it is a trigger. It doesn't benefit you in any way, shape or form. It'll give you that first hit, but after that it provides no use at all. And there are alternatives. So I think those are really but I think obviously with caffeine you have to be careful. If you're don't give up caffeine at Christmas, because if you drink a lot of coffee you're going to get one massive headache. So don't go into don't think about caffeine withdrawal. If you're worried about caffeine, maybe sort of start cutting down your caffeine intake now.
Yes.
Because we've still got a little while, but do not just suddenly say, I'm not having any caffeine today, because you will end up with a mother of all headaches.
And it lasts for days. You can feel quite rough with it actually. Once you actually start a detox of any kind, because your body is just thinking, whoa, I use that as a crutch. What am I going to do now? It can be really, really a tricky one to do. So I'm glad you said that. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the last link, as we call it in radio terminology. How has it gone so quickly? An hour has just gone like that, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, it has. Yes, and we've got a little bit more to go. Haven't we?
Right. I'll let you crack on.
Well, we were just talking off air about me time, and I think it made us giggle a little bit, because I think for women especially, I'm sorry, that's a bit generalised, I suppose, but for women especially, we very rarely take any me time over this Christmas period. So is there a way that you can find, whether it's 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes of time that you can take back for yourself, whether that's to do something that you absolutely love doing, whether that's reading, crocheting, knitting, anything that you find is mindful for you, to be able to get some balance back again. It's all about balance, I think, at the end of the day. Sort of like you can give yourself as much as possible during certain times, but then you'll be able to take a little bit of time back to then regroup, and then know that you've got enough in the tank, the energy-wise, to be able to then give to the rest of the time away. And I think that's something that, how about you? Do you take any time out during your time at Christmas?
Yeah, this is my first Christmas on my own, so I'm no longer in a relationship. So for me, we were talking earlier about sort of it's a potentially quite difficult time. So it's dealing with new emotions, new feelings, and sort of my new life, the way that it looks now, and it's a period of adjustment. So it is. I am sad, but I'm also happy because I'm lucky. I'm going to be with my boys, and not everybody's that lucky. And we're all going to Henry's girlfriend's family for Christmas Day, all of us, which is going to be so lovely. And I feel very honoured that's that I'm sort of, we're part of the wider family now.
Yes.
My kids have got these wonderful partners, and I'm part of their family, so that is lovely. But it is a difficult time, and people can't assume that Christmas looks on the surface, or superficially looks like it's all about families and it's all fun and frolics and everything, but actually it can be a very lonely, bewildering time for a lot of people.
Yes.
And some people might not have anyone to talk to throughout the whole Christmas period. So what we see and what is actually reality is not actually the truth sometimes. But in terms of keeping making time for myself, yes, I've got a lot better at it. I'm actually I'm almost quite selfish about it now. It's finding that time for me, and obviously I have a lot more time on my own now. But so I would just play. I've got a meditation app, or I just play this 5-minute one just called As You Are, and it's just a 5-minute meditation, and it just gets me out of my head and into a really calming zone. Or I'll do some yoga stretches or a bit of journaling. So that time, you don't have to carve out loads of time, but it is vital, as you say, because as women generally we give, with families and kids and our other halves and everything. We don't, we are not going to be serving ourselves if we are not looking after ourselves.
Yeah.
So
when was the last time that someone said to you, you sit down, you take 5 minutes it doesn't happen, does it?
No,
But that's good to hear that you can do that, because I do think that is something that it has to be planned in, doesn't it? When you asked me earlier on, do I exercise and things, that is my time. I'm very fortunate that my husband exercises and likes to go to the gym as well, and we go in two different directions, and we find and we carve out time for ourselves, and we have two completely different types of exercising, and that's what we enjoy, and then we can come back together and then we carry on. So I think, just trying to find some me time, it isn't being selfish at all. I think that's what we have to recognise. It's something that is actually quite essential, and it keeps you sort of just sane during this time where it can be very difficult. And I do think as well, it's really important to mention as well, as the loneliness side is a very important thing to talk about, because you can be very lonely in a very busy space, can't you? And that can be quite isolating. And I think that knowing that there are lots of things out there, Samaritans, and lots of groups out there that can actually support you, that if you know that you're going to potentially feel lonely during that time, maybe ahead of the time, maybe seek out some local community groups. There's lots out there that are doing things around this time of year to really support, and I think that's something that would be really good to just mention as well. Yes,
yeah, absolutely. It's factoring that in, because it is, as I say, it can be quite a triggering time for people. Yeah. But no, it's a wonderful time, but as I say, it can be quite sad. Yeah. But so going back to damage limitation, I think my maximum would be enjoy yourself, but not go absolutely ballistic, because it is just one day, really, and do you need to eat, I don't know, half a pound of cheese. You can have a little bit of cheese, but you don't have to eat the whole lot, because for me, it's about thinking, well, is it worth it? Because for that moment in time, it's, oh my God, it's delicious. But afterwards, if you're filled with remorse and regret and everything and recrimination, then it's not been worth it. If you're thinking, well, to hell with it, I'm just going to enjoy it, then absolutely fine. Yes. So that's what I would say.
So I think the word choice is we have the chance to choose what we do, and you can choose not to do something. I think because we're surrounded by everybody else doing things, we feel that we should do it. I think the word should is something that's another word we should get rid of from the dictionary, because I should go and do this, I should go and exercise, I shouldn't do this. But I think if you could choose to do something that's healthy for you, one thing during the day, just one thing to counteract it, whether it's taking the apple cider vinegar before you indulge in your meal, or have one less roast potato, or if you're going to have that piece of Christmas pudding, try and make sure you have maybe a smaller portion of it. If you know that it's going to be uncomfortable for you, all those things we were just saying. Think about planning ahead. If you plan ahead a little bit, you can actually help to guide yourself through that and navigate through that time where you may find quite tricky, especially if you've got friends or family who do drink heavily and you don't want to, but you feel obligated. Maybe find some trip beforehand and have that in the fridge, or Schlur, or something that's like a fruity drink that you could maybe have as an alternative, those sort of things. So I'd say plan and just try and make some good choices for you. And because we're all so unique, we're all going to be different in terms of what we have. And also our childhood has such an influence on us, because what we did as children, will actually influence what we do as adults ourselves now. And if that's your comfort go-to, it's very difficult for your brain to think, well, why can't I do that now?
Exactly. And just sort of wrapping up quickly, but my mum won't mind me saying that she was a bit of a sugar fascist. We weren't allowed sugar, we weren't allowed sweets at all. So as a result, I would sort of say I'm quite addicted to sugar now, and I'm really having to sort of work on that. But yes, you're right. It does define us, actually. But it's about making sensible choices. But we've had so much to talk about, and we could probably chat for another 3 hours. But sadly, time does not permit. Next year, when you come back, we're going to be talking about HRT, because obviously that is a very important and emotive subject for many women.
Yes.
So we'll definitely be talking about that.
When you think there's only 12% of women in the UK who take HRT, and what the benefits are, I know there's lots of myths and discussions about it, but I'd love to go through a little bit more about HRT.
Yeah, and we're also going to talk about fitness and nutrition, and why not to join the gym on the 1st of January, because I guarantee you won't be there on the 1st of February. Some Christmas ideas. Ailsa's book, Don't Sweat It, Manage Your Menopause in 21 Days, is a great little book. So available on the Olive Collective, I'm guessing.
Yes, and on Amazon as well.
Fabulous. And how can we reach you over the Christmas period?
Through the socials, really, which is at Olive Collective UK on Instagram, and then at Olive dash collective on Facebook.
And we'll put that all over our socials as well. So yeah, we're doing well on the socials, actually. You are very good at it. Thank you so much. You can contact me, Nancy, at horizonradio.com. And so anything you want to talk about in the new year, we are here to talk about that. This is just as much your show as it is mine. And also you can follow me on _NancyMK_. And I did a TikTok the other day, and it's done really well. So you can follow me on TikTok as well. I don't know what my handle is though, but I'll get better with TikTok. But no, the socials are a great way of contacting us. Thank you so much for making the show the warm and successful and wonderful show that I think we've managed to achieve in 4 short weeks. It's just been so exciting, and I'm just so thrilled to be back on it. So I wanted to wish everybody, Ailsa, my producer, Chris Gregg, who has made this opportunity possible for me. I'm so grateful for allowing me to be back on air and talking my Nancy nonsense. But it's been so lovely. I'm so privileged. So I would like to wish you all a very happy Christmas. I'm going to play Ailsa's favourite song, which is One More Sleep, Leona Lewis. So it's not quite one more sleep. There's a few more sleeps. But wishing you all a Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle here on the New Horizon.